Good morning, for me at least. Thought I'd try and make some productive use of my time while I'm driving to work this morning. But I've been watching some videos lately on YouTube, different expats and so forth living in the Philippines. And it got me thinking about, the wide variety of different lifestyles that people, live whenever they, retire to the Philippines. And I'm using the word retirement loosely because some people don't necessarily, know it's not like what we think of a traditional retirement, like they've worked until they're 60 something and now they've moved off to the Philippines to spend their, remaining few years somewhere. But some of these guys are a good bit younger and have just moved off to the Philippines, and either they just they have enough money to get by basically somehow, at least for a small period of time. Maybe they think they'll go there, and while they are there, they can get some kind of a YouTube channel or something started and find a way to make a living like that at some kind of a subsistence level at least. But when you're looking at the guys who've moved over there and they've decided, okay, this is where I'm going to spend my remaining years, at least barring some kind of emergency, some kind of medical condition that would force them to leave. There's a lot of different comfort levels, if you will, that people are willing to live with. For some people, they don't want to go somewhere after they spent their whole life working and trying to get to the point where they can actually get away from that rat race and just live in a little room somewhere with hardly anything at all. Have to shower out of a bucket, a toilet with no lid on it, no seat on it and everything, just at the basic level, which is where a lot of Filipinos, of course, consider they're just normal everyday existence, which for a lot of people in the West, a lot of Americans especially, not real thrilled by that sometimes. I've stayed in apartments before, places I've rented over in the Philippines where that was the basic situation. Not really too many creature comforts or, like air conditioning or things like that. And, showering, with a bucket, just a traditional way. And there certainly is nothing wrong with that. And, I never really had an issue with it that much. It's nice, though, if you're going to move somewhere to live and spend the rest of your life, especially if you're, building a house of your own, for instance, to have a few of those creature comforts. It's nice to have a shower and have some hot water, be able to just go in there and turn on the hot water and shower. And especially if you're older, maybe not quite as limber as you used to be, and it's nice to get up in the morning maybe and work the kinks out of those muscles. Sometimes after a hard week of delivering mail, I know for me, I get up, say it's Sunday morning or something, and it's nice to just go and get in the shower, take a nice hot shower, stretch a little, loosen up all the muscles, And as we get older, those creature comforts are, appreciated a little bit more sometimes, depending on what kind of injuries and wear and tear you've got on your body through the years. But you'll see a lot of people who will tell you that you don't need all those kind of luxuries and are willing to just live a pretty simple basic life. They don't have much room. They might have like a little one-room or studio apartment, and certainly that's pretty good. If certainly financially that's good. If you can find something like that that's really cheap and frees up your money for other things, and especially if you're planning to go out and travel around to different places, and that's not just going to be your home base, living there 24 hours a day and spending all your time there, when you might want a little bit more room and have a little bit more comforts there, right there at home. So that's part of it too. Your home, that you're, the place you're renting, is it just going to be a place where you stay while you're trying to plan your next little adventure to somewhere else? Or is it just actually going to be your home? You're really living there the vast majority of your time. If you're the kind of person who likes to accumulate things, if you're interested in doing things in your retirement that maybe you didn't have as much time for as you wanted to when you were working, you're probably going to want to do more than just have a place to sleep, though. For me, having been playing guitar since I was like 10 or 11 years old, and gone through some really nice guitars through the years and so forth, for me, I'm sure I'll probably want to be able to have a few guitars around and things like that, a couple of amplifiers, maybe do some kind of recording, which is a lot easier these days, of course, with all of the stuff you can do with computers and the software that's available, amp simulators and all that kind of thing. A lot of really great albums have been put out by people that didn't even use an actual physical guitar amp, But that's something I enjoy. And I'm sure, assuming that, my hands aren't wrecked from arthritis or something as I'm older, that I would certainly be wanting to do. One of the big things for me, as a person who's been writing for my whole life since I was very young, I'll finally be able, after I, retire, get my pension, Social Security and all that, have enough money coming in to be able to pay the bills without having to go to work every day. And I'll be able to relax and actually take the time that you need to really kick back and focus on my writing. And certainly I'll have a lot of new inspiration and new places that I can check out over there that will help fuel that. Right now I'm working on a novel, kind of a spy story. It's set mainly in the Philippines, along with a couple of other projects. So for me, I'm not planning to go out and work, if you will, in terms of having another job, but I'm definitely planning to get back into my writing, and hopefully that will bear some fruit eventually. I had an incident before in my life where I was very, very close to having a screenplay produced, and it kind of fell through because of bad decision I made signing a contract with a manager that I thought could help me sell some of my other work, and he ended up screwing up the deal I already had going. So haven't really done much, super serious since all that happened. I've done some writing, and obviously every bit of writing you do through the years is very helpful, because you're still learning, you're still working on improving your craft and your technique, and coming up with new ideas and things that you can incorporate. Even if you don't actually sell something, while you're busy working and trying to do some writing, you're still keeping keeping your craft up and learning how to do things and to write better. And all of that eventually is going to help you when you do have time to settle down and just work on nothing but writing. So I try to stay active doing that. That for me would be the big thing. But we built a house over there last year in the Philippines, and it's not the hugest mansion or anything in the world, though it's very nice. And we've got good kind of more modern Western style bathrooms and so forth, and enough room that I can hang out there and enjoy myself. Got a nice little bar area up on the roof where I can hang out up there and do things, have a place where I could maybe set up some exercise equipment and so forth. So I feel like where I'm going to be living, I'll have pretty much everything I need right there, as far as being comfortable. And certainly, even though we're living kind of out in the provinces a little, I will have the opportunity. I can go off to Cebu or Manila, things like that, enjoy some of the city life and the things that I enjoy there too as well from time to time. And that's kind of my plan. But I see other people. I was watching a video the other day by a guy who's kind of moved out into the provinces from the city. He's been over there for a while in the Philippines. I'm not sure exactly how long. And they've got a house that they're working on, and at the moment it's, very basic, not very many creature comforts. And I guess I'll let this guy in the Charger zip on by before I make a left-hand turn here. And but he's perfectly happy and content. They're going to be living there while they finish it off and work on it. It's a very, kind of doesn't have a lot of creature comforts at the moment, basic level of stuff, but that's what makes him happy. He's happy where he is and with the person he's with and so forth. And that's the main thing. But if you're going to stay over there for a long term, you go on YouTube even just for a quick sample of what's going on with different expats, and you'll see so many different lifestyles. You've got people living in little studio condos in Cebu, places like that. You've got people living in little, one-room apartments that they're only paying $60-80 a month for. And they, even though they spend the vast majority of their time right there in that one little area, they're the kind of person that they're happy with that. And that's all they need. And in the meantime, they're saving up money so that they can have a nice emergency fund and have the possibility of doing other things with that. So the question you have to ask yourself is just what you need as an individual, because it's going to be different for everyone. For me personally, I don't look at my future retirement as just a time to sit around and wait for the end to come. For me, retirement means I can have enough money coming in to take care of the bills, and we can eat, stay alive, have what we need. And yet at the same time, all those hours every day that I spend working right now for someone else doing a job, I'll have that time available to do the things I want to do. That's what retirement is going to mean to me. That's how I'm looking at it. For some people, they're not interested in doing anything else necessarily. They may have some hobbies or gardening and so forth. But for me, the two big things for me in my life have always been my writing and playing guitar from the time I was very young. Let me back into my parking space here. And that's what I've always wanted to be able to do in my life, was be able to spend my time writing, And I kind of focused more on my writing through the years than playing guitar, just because I thought that was the area where I had something more special to offer, I'm a decent guitar player and all of that, but it's not like I have some radical, new vision to offer the world when it comes to playing guitar. I enjoy it. It's something I enjoy, I like cranking up music that I like and cranking up my amp and rocking along with it or whatever. And it's just something I enjoy. It makes me feel good. But looking at it from something that can pay off for me and make money for me, certainly my writing is, the area where I, realized I needed to focus my effort. I've often thought through the years, if I had been somebody who was just interested in one of those things instead of both of them, and devoted all the time I spent just to one of those aspects, I would have been a lot better off in terms of, really being, achieving some kind of over-the-top mastery of it. But I divided my attention between so many different things that I was interested in. But when I retire, certainly my writing, and who knows, maybe living in the Philippines, like some photography and video stuff, travel kind of things. Though I think that market right now is, really saturated. Certainly you can find your little niche with things and be able to do something and, have some kind of content that you're putting out that people are interested in, and informative, and helps people with planning their vacations and places to visit and things like that. But right now, there are so many people that have moved to the Philippines, and that's kind of like their dream. you know, to go over there and start a YouTube channel and make money off of it. And it's just, I mean, to me, I just don't, I don't really see YouTube as kind of like a great money-making thing. And like I say, I'm planning to retire with enough money coming in that, talking too long here, that I don't really need to be desperately searching for a way to make more money. You know, I want to be able to enjoy myself. And the writing is something that I can do where I enjoy it. And yet at the same time, it also has a, you know, profit potential eventually. It's still too hot. But those are just my my musings on that particular subject. I see so many people over there who they seem to want to argue about what retirement is supposed to mean. And the fact is that when you use that word retirement, it means totally different things to so many different people. There is no one right answer. You'll see people that say, well, you know, retirement is when you go somewhere and you're just planning to basically kind of make the best of the end of your life, you know, and not really doing anything crazy, puttering around the garden. But that's a really, that's more of a baby boomer or pre-baby boomer idea of retirement, I think, than what people have today. The fact of the matter is, if you take good care of yourself these days, awful lot of people are going to live to 80, 90, 100 years old. And even in the Philippines, where you may not be living right next to the, you know, most incredible advanced medical facilities, if you're taking good care of yourself and living a healthy life, who knows how long you're going to be around. You know, there's a lot of 80, 90-year-old people in the Philippines. And, you know, they've been living the kind of lifestyle that everybody tells us, you know, we shouldn't live, sitting around eating rice and stuff every day. And they're still here, you know. So you don't know how long you're going to be around. The idea that if you're moving over there that it's the end of your life just because you're 65 years old, statistically speaking, you know, you talk about average life expectancies. A lot of that stuff with the averages, that takes into account everyone. You know, that takes into account the people who die as infants, as children, you know, who get killed in motorcycle accidents and car accidents and war and everything else. You know, once you've actually made it to like 65 years old or so, your expected life expectancy goes up a little because you've already made it past the point where if you were going to die early, you probably would have been gone from some kind of like, man, you know, some kind of like genetic reasons or whatever. If you were fated to have a short life, you probably wouldn't have made it to 65, you know? So if you've already made it to 65 and you're still in good health, the odds of your being around for another 20 or 30 years go way up, you know? So you can't just think, well, okay, I'm 65. I've only got a few years left. I'm just going to sit around and wait to die. And, you know, that's definitely old style thinking there. So for me, I'm hoping to keep a positive attitude about things. I'll be 61 soon, but I've got a lot of stuff left to do, you know? It's not, I don't feel like an old man or something. And, you know, I'm out here walking around in the 95-degree heat in Florida, 95% humidity, still going out every day delivering mail and stuff, you know. It's not fun, but I look around at some of the people who are, you know, 20, 30, 40 years younger than me, and they're having a harder time of it than I am. So I'm not ready to lay down and die yet, you know. Retirement can be a pretty exciting time. So you need to find a place to live that's going to give you what you need and let you have access to some creature comforts and enjoy your life. That's just what I think anyways.